All right, I've been promising you guys this one for a while, and we're going to do it today. You saw the thumbnail. It's the Ilia Topuria GOAT status video. We are making the path for Ilia Topuria to become the GOAT of MMA. Now, when I tell you something, this guy's already on track. Let's just go through what he's done. I want to say he's 15-0, 16-0, and we're going to rattle off just a couple of the wins that Ilia Topuria has had. Obviously, most recently, he headlined one of the biggest cards that the UFC have put together in recent years at UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi, and he did what no one else has ever done before, including 155-pounders. He knocked out Max Holloway, and he knocked him out in round 3, making him look human. Nobody has ever done that. Nobody. Want to know what else happened? Nobody has beaten Alexander Volkanovski at featherweight except for Ilia Topuria. In the UFC, no one's beat Alexander Volkanovski at featherweight except for Ilia Topuria. Not only that, he knocked him out cold. I don't care if that was 35-year-old Volk. If 30-year-old Volk got hit with that shot, he's going out completely cold. He is just putting people out left and right, and he is truly the best fighter in the UFC right now. I truly believe it. I actually believe that he's got an argument for Fight of the Year. I'm going to give it a Pereira just because he saved events and he fought one more time. I'm also going to say that he could be pound for pound number one, but listen, maybe one or two more fights will decide that. Islam Makhachev has showed that he is one of those guys right now as well. But obviously knocking out Max Holloway, knocking out Alexander Volkanovski is what prompted this video. Other wins for Ilia Topuria on his 16-0 UFC 16-0 record. Josh Emmett by decision. How fucking crazy of a chin does Josh Emmett have? And Ilia Topuria put up a pretty much a scorecard record. I think he got a couple of 50-42s, multiple 10-8s in that fight, destroyed Josh Emmett. Then people are talking about how good of a submission specialist Bryce Mitchell is. He's so good with his jiu-jitsu and his grappling, which he is. Ilia Topuria submitted him in 2 rounds. Jai Herbert caught him with a kick. Ilia Topuria comes back and knocks him out in the second round. A dude that Ilia Topuria was going up in weight class to fight. Then Ryan Hall, Joe Rogan loves to glaze how dangerous this guy is, going flippy-floppy off his back. Now, I'm a Joe Rogan fan. I can't believe I have to say this every video. Just because I criticize him loving the jiu-jitsu guys doesn't mean I don't like Joe Rogan. I'm a massive fan of Joe Rogan, so get that through your head. But as Rogan's glazing, Ryan Hall's getting knocked out by Ilia Topuria in round 1. He knocked out Damon Jackson in round 1. I mean, he knocked the hairline right off of Damon Jackson. And then the last one that I want to talk about, it was his UFC debut. He won a decision against Youssef Zalal, and we've seen what Youssef Zalal has become, guys. Like, Youssef Zalal is that guy. He's going to be ranked at featherweight soon. I can't wait to see him continue to rise, but that just is continuing to age well for Ilia Topuria. Let's get into the video, though. First, we're going to kind of lay out some things that obviously I want to see, and then we're going to get into things that will make him the GOAT. Got to stay active. I want to see this guy fighting a lot. I want to see him fighting frequently. I don't want to see him sitting on the sidelines for extended periods of time. I get it. He's 27, 28 years old right now. 27, 28 years old. Knocked out Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski back-to-back and is 16-0. This is insane. Just to show you the level of what he's at. And he's selling the shit out of pay-per-views, and he needs to keep doing that. He needs to keep making people want to watch Ilia Topuria. Every time he fights, he is must-see TV. His fight style is insanely entertaining, insanely technical, and then he talks his shit on the mic in the lead-up. All of it to build the fight, but it remains remotely respectful. It's a little bit of disrespect, but it's all a part of the game. He's not taking shots at people's family or shit like that. He's saying what he's got. I'm going to knock him out. Max Holloway, Saturday night. That's all he says. Saturday night, Max Holloway. It's he's funny, dude. He's funny. He talks good shit, and he goes in there and backs it up. So continue to talk shit. Continue to promote your fight. One of the ways you can talk shit, call Jones what MMA Guru exposed him to be. Now, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, so I'm not, but you can call out Jones for a number of different things. You can say, why is Jon Jones the GOAT when he has multiple failed PED tests? And Ilia does that thing where he shakes his head like he's working at a 7-Eleven. Would you like more things with us, huh? Call Jon Jones what you know he is. Fuck it, just do it. Give him a stray. You're not... How can you make Jon Jones the number 1 pound for pound, and I don't see how you can make him the greatest fighter of all time when he won't fight Aspinall, the number 1 contender, the clear number 1 contender. He is ducking him. He also has big wins off of PEDs. I don't know what accent I'm giving Ilia right now, but I can't do an Ilia accent. I'll try and work on it. Don't know that it's going to be an easy one to do, but like, just make fun of like the obvious shit for Jones, man, like the PEDs, the other stuff. And then the beating his wife thing, be like, listen, I don't think I can ever call someone to go to the sport if they beat his wife. I don't have to beat women. I only beat men in the octagon because that's what a real man does, unlike Jon Jones, who's a coward wife beater. Call out Jon Jones. Fuck it, dude. I feel like that can, like, if you're trying to be the GOAT, you go after Jon Jones, you're going to have people going, dude, Jones would beat his ass. Jones is also a heavyweight. Ilia's a featherweight, and, Ilia's better. I mean, does he win a fight? No, but like, he's still better. Fuck it. Go after Jon Jones because you want to become the GOAT. Go after the one that people keep glazing to call the GOAT and call out all the things that are wrong with him and being the GOAT. The wife beating, the PED cheating for all of his biggest wins, the ducking the real contenders, being a light heavyweight but fighting Pride middleweights. Guys who should have been fighting at middleweight coming over from Pride. Now, the sport has evolved well past Jon Jones. Ilia Topuria is fighting in the prime of the sport right now. And then go to all these massive international events. Go to all these Real Madrid games or the Barcelona. He's a Real Madrid guy. So go to these Real Madrid games. Make your name known, which you're already doing in Spain, but now take it over to the States. Go to the Olympics. Go do a whole bunch of different stuff. Be everywhere. Have a feature in a movie. Be active everywhere so everyone knows who you are. Do commercials. You know, have moments with celebs. Go back and forth with celebs on Twitter talking shit. Like, go do that stuff to get your name out there, because if anyone's going to talk shit to you that's not a fighter, you're going to go, what are you going to do, brother? I'm literally a fighter. I can knock you out, bro. Like, this is what Ilia's got to do. But enough with the technical stuff. We're moving on to the first thing that needs to happen in order. Like, these are the important things that need to happen for him to become a GOAT, but the first physical, tangible thing that he is going to have his hands on doing in Spain, it looks as though on UFC 312, we are going to get Diego Lopez and Alexander Volkanovski. Now, it may be for an interim belt. There should not be an interim belt on the line. This should just be the number one contenders fight. Interim belts, I think, need to be saved for when the champion is moving up in a division, or if you have a situation like Jon Jones just not trying to fight. That's when you have an interim belt. Jon Jones is a coward. But listen, Volk and Diego Lopez, I think, are going to be the main event of UFC 312 in Sydney, Australia. All right, sorry, that was bothering me on my screen. It's going to be 5 rounds, the main event, I believe. And listen, this is going to be Ilia's next fight, and this will give Dana enough time to get a fight done in Spain. I think Dana can get it done. He just needs a little bit more time because it's tricky. They trying to book an arena for Spain, like, they have everything booked. So that's what he said the problem is. It's not that Spain doesn't want to have him. It's not that he doesn't want to go to Spain. He'd love to. They have the star. They're just having trouble booking the venue. But once they're able to get the venue, they're going to have a card there. I think this fight, being a number one contenders fight in the meantime, is really going to be able to give Dana the time to get Spain booked, and then you bring Ilia to fight in front of his home crowd against a real contender. Because if Diego Lopez beats Volk, then he's the guy that beat the shit out of Ortega, has insane beat Dan Ige, made a bunch of different weights to beat Dan Ige. He's also knocked out Sadiq Youssef on UFC 300 in one of the cooler moments on the card. One of the many really cool moments on the card, but he was like a highlight of it. He got a performance bonus, I believe. And then you beat Volk. Like, that's how you do it. That's literally how you do it right there. And he's a fan favorite. He's exciting. He's dangerous. And he's a new challenger. Now, if Volk wins, Volk's back. It's not Ilia beating up a washed Volk who's just been knocked out 3 times in a row now. It's Volk still there, still competing at the top of the division, earning his number 1 spot back. Now, he should have a free title rematch. He deserves it, but we don't want to see it. We don't need to see that. It just feels like it's going to be a knockout. Get some more hype behind Volk again, because the guy's coming off 2 knockouts back-to-back. Get some hype behind Volk again. Have him beat the other most dangerous guy in the division right now. And then go, holy shit, Volk never left. He's here. Ilia was that good when he beat Volk. Now he's going to get a chance to fight Volk again. Can Volk do it? There's real hype going into that fight, the rematch, and it's in Spain. I bet Ilia beats either of these guys. I think he chins Volk in the rematch, and I think he chins Diego Lopez in the rematch, or in their first fight. But regardless, these are fights that the winner of this fight needs to be the guy that fights Ilia Topuria. It really does. I think it's a banger, and I think it's going to sell a ton of pay-per-views. It's so marketable. If whoever wins this fight can fight Ilia, they're coming off a massive win. This is what you need to do. So he wins in Spain. He gets a big finish. Then he calls out the lightweight champ Islam Makhachev. Now, Islam Makhachev is not known for his activity. He's going to fight Arman Tsarukyan in January. Then he's going to take time off for Ramadan. Then he's going to come back and fight when they go back to Abu Dhabi probably in October. If Ilia can fight Volker Diego Lopez winner in May, right? Give it May time frame would be good. Then you have all of June. But let's say to the beginning of June. Let's say they fight in the beginning of June, so that way it's 4 months off for the Diego or Volk winner. Then it's you have all of June, you have all of July, you have all of August, you have all of September, and then at the end of October, you do the super fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria for the lightweight belt. It will be the most compelling fight. If Ilia beats one of these two guys next, it'll be the most compelling fight that we need to see. Now you can say, well, Islam's got to go up to welterweight. Welterweight's kind of backlogged, man. I think Islam Makhachev has contenders in his division that are worthy of title shots right now, Arman Tsarukyan being one. You have Renato Moicano moving his way up. You have these other fighters, like especially as wins continue to pile up and these fighters continue to stay active and get fighting, you have these guys that are ready for their title shots that Islam's got to kind of clean house out a little bit. Now, he can move up to welterweight, but I think he should fight Ilia first. If he beats Ilia, then he goes up to welterweight easy, but I think Ilia can get it done, and I actually think he does chin Islam Makhachev. I think Ilia's grappling is strong enough to defend against Islam Makhachev, and he's at that height that Islam has had trouble with when he fought Volk in the grappling. And overall, I think Ilia's a better grappler than Volk. It is what it is. He's got more power than Volk, and he can crack and hurt Islam Makhachev. We've seen Islam Makhachev get knocked out. Haven't seen Ilia Topuria even hurt. Oh, we saw him hurt against Jai Herbert, but you know what I mean, dude? He hasn't been knocked out. He's going out there and putting the most dangerous guys away. This is a super fight that will sell like crazy. And if he goes into Abu Dhabi and beats Islam Makhachev by finish in Abu Dhabi, he's already the GOAT in my book. If he does that, he's the GOAT because he's beating another guy that could be considered a top 7 GOAT, maybe top 5 by the end of his career in Islam Makhachev. Before that, he beat a top 5 GOAT in Volk, a top 10 GOAT in Holloway. So if he adds Islam Makhachev to it, dude, he's beaten 3 top 10 GOATs in the span of his career already. And he's, 30 at this time? Nuts. Maybe 30. I think he's 27 right now. He'll be 29, 30 if this happens at the end of next year. So wins the lightweight belt. And then he says, you know what? I've loved it. Lightweight's great. It's awesome. But there are other contenders that I think are going to need to fight. And there are going to be contenders. There is an interim champion at featherweight at this point. So I think at this point, when he's going up to fight Islam Makhachev, these are the names, and you can throw Yair in there as well, but these are the names that are going to be in the mix, fighting each other at the top of the division, and you do a winner of a bunch of these matchups. If Arnold Allen gets a win, and then Evloev or Aljo, whoever wins between these two guys, you have them fight for an interim belt. So as Topuria moves up to fight Islam Makhachev, an interim belt fight is made for featherweight between one of these up-and-coming guys. I think Arnold Allen's going to be one of the most best suited to do it. If Evloev beats Aljo, he's starting to become a little undeniable. But I don't think people would hate to see an Evloev-Arnold Allen rematch with the rule change, because Arnold Allen should have had the knockout. But Mark Goddard sucks. If Aljo wins, you're looking at a former bantamweight champion coming off 2 wins and then maybe a third, and then he gets his interim belt shot. If Lerone Murphy pulls together some good wins, that's a good one. I don't think Emmett's going to be the guy. Yair's another person you can throw into the mix here, but again, he's losing to Ortega. There are other guys that are up and coming that you can definitely keep an eye on, but I'm just saying there should be an interim belt made for Ilia's next challenger after he beats Islam Makhachev if he does so. And then he would go down to fight for the featherweight belt again against whoever the interim champion is and win. And if he wins, dude, this guy has now destroyed people in the UFC and has strung together crazy wins. This would put him at 19-0? It would be 20-0 here. 17-0 at the Volk Lopez winner, 18-0 against Makhachev, and then beating an interim champion to go 19-0. Then it's time for a super fight to go 20. You can build this he's going to go 20-0, and he's beaten all these legends in his fights already. He's 10-0 in the UFC at this point or whatever it would be. Super fight time. The bantamweight champ goes up to challenge Ilia Topuria. I think the bantamweight champ is going to be either Umar or Sugar Sean. I think Sugar Sean will just get the opportunities, and he's good enough to beat a lot of these fighters. Obviously, as we know, he was the former champ. He beat Aljo. and knocked him out. There was no controversy in it. I'm sick of people saying that was an early stoppage because it wasn't. He beat the piss out of Aljo. Or Umar Nurmagomedov. I think one of these two will be the champion at bantamweight. We'll have a title defense or two, and we'll probably be looking to go up for an Ilia Topuria fight, and that sells a super fight. Listen, the Dagestanis are coming at Ilia Topuria right now because he wants to beat Islam Makhachev. He made a comment about how, like, guys, you act like it's impossible to beat Islam. Someone already knocked him out. And he's talking shit like that. Good fight builder, and every Dagestani's coming out of the woodworks at him. Guru literally did a video on this. Islam really is not the one talking shit, but you're seeing like Usman Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, Abubakar Nurmagomedov, the forgotten one who isn't good, so they just don't consider him a Nurmagomedov. Abubakar sucks, dude. He's a terrible fighter. But like, listen, if Umar and Ilia continue to talk shit and Umar's the champ, then he goes up and we have a super fight between Topuria and a last name Nurmagomedov again. Who, if Umar is the champ at that time, it's probably because he's still undefeated as well. So you get an undefeated versus an undefeated Nurmagomedov versus undefeated Ilia Topuria. That's a sick fight. Also, you would have Sugar Sean's a great option because that's just a super fight waiting to happen. Two unbelievably fun, talented styles, both with insane abilities to beat each other. I think Sean is a great style to actually knock out Ilia. I just don't know if it'll actually happen. I don't know if anyone can do it. But Sean's got the kind of style that makes me think it's possible. And Ilias obviously touches Sugar Sean's chin once and it's over. So I think that's a massive super fight. You go 20-0 after beating one of these guys, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, Ilia, what is next for this guy? You know what? I've done a lot at featherweight. There's other guys. I'm going to let other guys start to take supreme in this division. I'm going to go back up and get an immediate title shot against the current champion, the person who is now champion because Ilia went back down in weight. So whoever ends up becoming the champion as Ilia goes back down, whether it be Renato Money Moicano, my bet is it's going to be like Arman Sarukian by the time Islam moves up to welterweight. Paddy Pimblett's a name that you throw in there just because it could be a big fight. But whoever is the champion at lightweight, which I believe at the time would probably be an Arman Sarukian, someone young, super talented. It's not going to be a Poirier or Gaethje. We're looking at retired. Both will be retired by then. Maybe if Paddy can string together a couple more wins, Renato Moicano stays active and involved. Arman Sarukian is probably the leading guy. But if Ilia Topuria goes up to lightweight again, says, I want to stay at lightweight permanently now, knocks out or beats the lightweight champion, then he goes, dude, now he's just become lightweight champion again. This guy's undeniable. What do we do next? I got an idea. For what I think would be the biggest selling pay-per-view of all time. If this timeline adds, this will become the biggest selling pay-per-view of all time in the UFC, in MMA, period. He gets his Conor fight. Fuck it! What else are you going to do with the guy? He's beating everyone. There's no one you're going to put in front of him that you think can beat him. At least you sell a shit ton of money with a McGregor fight, and you can hype a McGregor fight because you're like, well, this dude was also like one of the GOATs of featherweight who never lost and knocked out Aldo. Remember when he was in his prime? Conor's got that one touch of death power too. Great movement, great boxing. I don't know, dude. This could be a dicey fight for Ilia. I'm going to pick Ilia, but holy shit, it's going to be close. It's Conor McGregor's return. I don't think Conor McGregor actually stands a chance against Ilia, especially with how he's been partying. But why not make the biggest selling fight of all time? This is what Dana thinks Stipe versus Jon Jones is. What Topuria and McGregor would be is what Dana thinks Stipe versus Jon Jones is. This is the real super fight of all super fights that you could possibly make. He goes out there and he beats Conor McGregor. This dude has the best resume of all time. Now has superstardom on another level. And then all he's got to do is just wrap things up the right way. He beats Conor in a super fight. Then he goes to, oh, you know what? That's what I said. This is a boxing fight. He goes to box Conor McGregor after he wins the lightweight title again, saying, listen, dude, I'm the best of the best. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So he's destroying the lightweight division as he keeps going up and winning and then leaving, but it's okay. Because now he's going to go box Conor McGregor. Why not do that? And then he returns to the UFC after boxing, taking a year off to do the boxing thing, comes back, well-trained, returns. Fights two of the lightweight contenders, whoever the champion is, and then defends the belt once after that. takes a shot at welterweight if it's the right kind of champion, if it's a champion that's actually beatable for him. He's not going up there to fight someone way bigger than him like Shavkat. You know, I'm not expecting that, but if he gets a guy that's like a little bit shorter, like Bilal's obviously not the right example because I think he'll be retired by then, but if he gets one of these, you know, up-and-coming guys that are a little bit smaller, a little closer to his height, but still really good, like if it somehow is like Joaquin Buckley or Sean Brady, I think Jack Della Maddalena would be a sick fight. JDM might beat him, but again, it's welterweight, so like it's not a crazy take, but if it's one of those fights, go take a shot at the welterweight champ. See if you can become the first 3-division champion. If you do, great. If you don't, doesn't matter. At the end of that chance, unless there's a massive name at lightweight for you to fight, you retire. Retire. Then, as all this has been going on, he's breeding Dagestani destroyers, man. He and his wife are just going, and they're creating children that are meant to be the destroyers of the Dagestanis in the UFC. Tell me that's not perfect. Ilia Topuria just leaving us all with a gift in the sport, that's great. Becomes a coach for the other fighters, his kids who end up becoming champion. This is 10, 15 years down the road from that now. And then as his career finishes, we see that this guy has never popped for PEDs in his life, unlike someone who people call the GOAT. And he remains undefeated, unlike someone who people call the GOAT. He lost to Matt Hamill. Still a loss. He also got his ass beat by Reyes. We all saw that. So if he does these things, Ilia Topuria is what everyone will call Tom Brady of the UFC. I'm telling you right now, this is how Ilia Topuria comes the GOAT. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. This is a pretty fun one to do. Obviously, far-fetched, big stretch on a lot of these. I was trying to keep it more on how he can become the GOAT and not the biggest star, but it's kind of going to become hand-in-hand with how Ilia's, you know, how Ilia's trajectory is going. So I'm excited. I think Ilia can do this. It's far-fetched. But if anyone can do it, dude, I'm an Ilia Topuria believer. I'm a massive Ilia Topuria fan right now, so hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think, what else you would like to see Ilia do to become the GOAT.